What's up? What's up? You're tuned in to another episode of Prison Talk Live. Took a week off. I had to take a little vacay with the wifey. Went and saw some baller shit up in Monterey, Pebble Beach. If you're a car person and you never had a chance to go to Monterey, then you need to go. Monterey has the sickest cars, the most exclusive cars, and it's a great place to enjoy some good weather, some really nice roads, and some good people. So Monterey Car Week, Pebble Beach, I go every year. I'll be there again next year. And yeah, man, I always have a good time with the wifey, man. And we went up there and kicked it and enjoyed really looking at some nice cars and networking. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, like I said, you're a damn weenie, so you need to go ahead and subscribe. Quit bullshitting. I don't know why you haven't already. Make sure you guys go check out the website, FreshOutSeries.com. We got a lot of cool stuff on the website. We got clothing. We got my book list. We got music playlists. We got a lot of stuff, man. Cool apparel. A lot of cool stuff on there, so go check that out, FreshOutSeries.com. Also, subscribe to the website. You can you can send a message, leave a comment. We can basically answer your question, maybe in a prison talk. And if I don't answer your question, don't get offended. We get a lot of emails, a lot of redundant questions, and at the same time, I'm out doing things with Fresh Out and just working, so I don't have time to answer everybody's question. But we do private consulting if you really want to chop it up. And email us at FreshOutSeries@gmail.com, and we can talk about that. But I just can't sit there and answer your email all day because I got shit to do. Got to make some money, man. For those who haven't been up on game, we're one of YouTube's channels that was chosen to do the paid membership. Our channel's still free, but we have paid content on a community tab on our page on YouTube. We got some stuff we can't talk about on YouTube on our channel on the community page, but you can only access it if you're a member. $4.99 a month if you're a member. And that $4.99, after YouTube takes their cut, we donate a percentage to a cause, whether it be the homeless, the veterans, to animal shelter. We're going to pick one every quarter to donate to. So your money's going to use, and we're going to use the rest of the money back into production so we can bring you the dope interviews like we did with Peanut in Detroit, like we've been doing as far as traveling out to different people. And we're down to travel, you guys. If you guys want us to travel, we're down to travel. If you guys, we could work something out on the whole travel expenses, we'll come to your town, do an interview on you, an expose, whatever the case may be, as long as you're not a hot boy. We ain't fuck with no hot boys. So, yeah, holler at us, FreshOutSeries@gmail.com. We're here to make, appearances too. We can appear at corporate functions, schools, colleges, talk to the knuckleheads. Hey, man, holler at us. We're available, FreshOutSeries@gmail.com. Lawrence, thanks for the donation, man. Herc, if you could have left the country to avoid, would you? You know what? I thought about that, man. And I've talked to people who have left the country. And the thing is, when you're on the run, and you don't really know when you're going to be, somebody's going to recognize you, or when you're going to have to, it'll be that day when you're looking over your shoulder and they pick you up. And I knew a guy who robbed a bunch of banks and went to Europe, and he was over there, and when his money ran out, he was robbing banks over there, and he ended up getting like 15, 16 years. And he had already been locked up for a bank robbery, so go figure. But, it's just looking over your shoulder, man, and I'm not sure what the statute of limitation is and how long you will remain a fugitive from the FBI. So, yeah, man, being on the run, if you can outlast them, I don't know if it takes if it's 7 years or 10 years, but, murder has no statute of limitation. Certain crimes have no statute of limitation, so I'm not sure what those crimes are, but that's something you'd have to look into. Somebody asked me about what I think about Alpo's hot ass. I don't know Alpo, man, but I've seen some stuff online. And man, there's a video on YouTube where they said he told on all them cats in DC. Man, that nigga, I mean, they got a thing in the feds, they call it get down first. And a lot of these niggas, man, they, if they have the opportunity to get out on their partners, man, you know, don't none of these cats want to do no time, man. You know what I mean? And the thing is, the feds only have most of their cases are based on people telling on other people. So, you know, when you got a motherfucker who's just blatant and he gets caught slipping and then he goes and tells on the whole crew. I met a lot of dudes, man, from all over who basically, they never would have got caught, but somebody told on them, man. So, I mean, I don't condone that shit. You know, you're in the game, you're making all that money, then you get caught up in telling all your homeboys to get out. Dude, it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't agree with it. And like somebody else said, everyone's snitching nowadays. Yeah, none of these youngsters are holding their weight. None of them. You know, the motherfuckers is talking about sliding and all this gangster rap shit. None of those niggas is not telling. They're all telling. You know what I mean? They're all telling. Who are the cowboys in prison? I don't know about that, but I know they used to call the Rampart guards the cowboys because they would bust your motherfucking head. They was running that shit like a motherfucking gang. Straight gangsters up in there. I didn't have no issues, but I knew that the Rampart, the guards up in there, they weren't no punk. Archer, thanks for the donation. You should make another channel for bodybuilding and exercise tips. I would love to learn some tips from someone that's cut as yourself. Hey, thanks, man. I got a YouTube channel that focuses more on positive motivation. Big Herc 916. Check it out. I talk about working out on there, eating, a lot of things regarding just things not related to prison. But that's the channel to check out. I'll be posting more workout videos on there, and it's Big Herc 916. OG Badger, he's at the crib. Can married guys have female friends, big bro? Big hero. Big Herc. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, you know, I mean, most guys that have female friends, I mean, if the female's married too, I mean, I don't see what the harm is in it, but, you know, you got to watch out depending on if your spouse is jealous or not, or, you know, if the female's single and she's trying to make moves. I mean, all that plays a factor. Big Herc, you ever thought about rapping? I feel your unique voice would be dope, especially on a compilation or something. You know, when I was younger, man, I had dreams and aspirations of being a rapper. I actually did an old rap demo tape when I was like 18, and I sent it to Luke Skywalker. I sent it to Def Jam. I sent it to I think Rap a Lot. I sent it to like 4 or 5 people, man. You know, I was trying shit, man. I've always been a hustler, and you know, I just never had nobody pushing me to stick with anything. But I definitely, I at one point I did want to be a rapper, man. And I was, you know, I had made a demo tape, man, when I was 18, man. And my homeboy had a little studio, and we was laying down tracks, man. Somebody said, Big Herc, do you have a P.O. box for fan mail? Yes, we do. If you would like to write Fresh Out, you can write us at 101 53 and a half Riverside Drive, number 235, Toluca Lake, California, 91602, and we'll holla back. But that's our fan mail-in, and that's also where we do a lot of you guys' mail-outs from for clothing. Somebody said, did I ever think about joining the military? No, I didn't, man. I never thought about joining the military just because I've always had dreams and aspirations of being an entrepreneur. Even though I come from a lot of family members who were in the military. My grandfather was in the Air Force. My other uncle, he was an Army Ranger. One of my other uncles was in the Air Force. My stepdad was in the Coast Guard. So I lived on military bases. I was at Treasure Island in the Bay Area. So I've been around Marines, Army, Navy. I've been around a lot of military. But, and it, like I said, it's good for opportunities for people who don't want to go to college, who are looking for some discipline and some, you know, some direction. But I just never felt the urge to go into the military. But I have much respect for the people who have. Um, Somebody said, Big Herc, what were you going to do with the money if you got away? Did you plan to start a business or some shit? You know, actually, the money I was gonna get from the bank robbery, I was gonna use that money to start a record label. I had a couple of rappers from SAC that I was kind of like mentoring, and I thought it was an opportunity to get into the music game. You know, I figured, you know, it was a bad risk move, but at the same time, I felt that, hey, man, I take that money, flip it into the entertainment game like a lot of people do, and go legit. But I never had intentions of robbing multiple banks or anything like that, man. I was more or less, I was going to take that and put it into a business. I already had kind of like a layout of what I was going to do and what artists I was going to put on wax. Dooney Smith, thanks for the donation. Big Herc, what will you do if Trump start a war with China, because it's starting to look like it's going that way? I don't know, man. I mean, Trump's on some, you know, he's on some Trump time. China's all about making money. You know what I'm saying? They're investing in Africa. They're investing in the South Pacific. They're building these little islands so they can establish territory rights to fish. China's making moves over there, man. They're making moves, man. Somebody said, what new things are you planning for the YouTube channel? Should I drop to $4.99 a month? Well, I didn't get to mention, but also when you're a member, after 6 months, you will get a fresh out package, which will entail some clothing, and basically we'll you know, put together a nice little clothing package, and then, you know, depending on your membership level, and then we also will be providing you after that. I think the next quarter you'll get like 6 months. You'll get a commissary package, which will have like what do you call it? Soup, different recipes for cooking top ramen and soups, and you know, a lot of the stuff we do on prison spreads. We're gonna have exclusive content on there. You guys like to hear a lot about tales about the adult entertainment industry, about the gigolo. Well, I have videos that we have on our paid membership channel that we're going to be sharing with you guys. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff on the paid membership that you guys are going to benefit from. And you get 10% off everything in the store all the time, as long as you're a member. 10% off everything. Mike Burks, thanks for the donation. Real OG kicking game. Listen up and pay attention. Much respect for everything you spit, big homie. Much love from 216. Hey, man, much love to you, man. I appreciate that, homie. Somebody said, when you coming back to the 808, gotta jump off the cliff again. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah. When I went to Hawaii to visit some family, man, went up there and the big guy at Oahu jumped off this cliff, man. They got this cliff over there. It's pretty high up, man. I climbed on top of that motherfucker, man. And when I looked down, I was like, oh, shit. But then I seen this little girl go ahead of me, and she jumped. So I'm like, fuck that, man. I can't be no punk, and I jumped. But that's just my mentality, man. I'm not gonna duck no wreck. Marvin, thanks. What's up, man? What's up, brother? United States Marine Corps retired. That's right, Marine Corps represent. Hoorah! Herc, why do you keep posting Badger? He still pushes the white supremacist bullshit. Number 1488. He's got that tattoo on him, man. But Badger, I've known him for a long time. And I know some other brothers that know Badger. He ain't never disrespected, homie. You know, you do some stupid shit when you go to the pen. Some of these guys, Badger took a different path than I took. But nonetheless, I think he brings another perspective to the channel. And, you know, some people can relate to him. You know, some people relate to him different than they relate to me. But he ain't never came at me sideways, man. Somebody said, do you support the prison strike? I think that, you know, people got to stand up for what they believe in, man. When I was in prison, man, you know, you put up with a lot of shit. And the thing is, a lot of the conditions would change in prison if the prisoners stuck together. And they know that. That's why they keep everybody separated. They keep everybody going at each other. They keep the race war going. It's all part of the plan, man. It's the same shit they do out here. You know, try to keep people in a certain demographic so that it's easier to monitor that culture. So don't buy into that shit, man. But yeah, I think that the prison strike that's going on right now is something that been a long time in the making, man. Have you ever had a cellmate that was doing life? I've never had a cellmate doing life, but I knew some guys that were lifers in there. And I remember an OG told me, he said, man, you better watch out hanging out with those lifers. And I'm like, why you say that? He said, man, because motherfuckers ain't got nothing to lose. And you never know what's going on in their heads, man, and what kind of time they on. So just watch yourself when you're kicking it with the lifers. And so, I always kind of like kept that in the back of my mind and made sure that, motherfuckers didn't have no ulterior motives, that they weren't trying to sex play a nigga. You just kind of watch movements and actions and conversation. You got to be very perceptive, man. People are very manipulative in prison. But, I met a couple of dudes doing life, man. I met one dude, damn, he had like 4 lives in like 100 years. He had got 1 life off, and he's fighting 3 more. I mean, dude had a hell of a case, man, and was balling. Puerto Rican cat, man, from back east. But yeah, man, he had a bunch of lives, man. And, he's a smart dude, man, but he stayed in that law library. Big Herc, if you stayed in the porn industry, do you think you would have ever went to prison? I was in the porn industry when I caught this case, man. I think I was looking for more than just the porn industry. So I went ahead and took that chance. I mean, I see a lot of the guys now that was in the industry, man, and they ain't got shit to show for it. So it's pretty pathetic, man. But that's the game, man. But if I would have had somebody else, I think, to talk to me at the time, if I would have talked to somebody, I probably would have talked myself out of robbing a bank, man, because the risk wasn't worth the reward. Herc, you're the realest guy on here. Respect you're taking a negative and turning into a positive. Not everyone can make changes the way you do. Keep up the head, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, bro. Somebody said, what about dudes who PC up because they want to leave the gang life behind? You're fucked. Once you PC, whenever you coming out the hole or segregated and you get transferred, and motherfuckers heard you PC'd up, they gonna roll you up again. So the PC life, for those who think they're gonna do their time in PC, every time you come out of PC, you could be facing problems. And it just takes one person to recognize you, or somebody to say, hey man, this guy's a fucking buster, he didn't represent, and they send the goons on you, man. So I wouldn't recommend PCing and associating yourself with a prison gang. When you're in prison, you're in that gang. There's no I'm cool. You can't, if you choose to try to be a dropout, you will get dealt with viciously. PC means protective custody. Somebody said, I appreciate your videos, man. I appreciate your words. It's nice to see dudes that understand what we have gone through. So thank you. Respect. Hey, man, appreciate it, man. Somebody said, yo, Herc, you ever thought about making a Fresh Out camp to teach kids about being real and learning about prison? You know what, man? Fresh Out down the road, we would like to maybe partner up with a nonprofit and do some stuff that's really impactful on the inner cities. I would love to talk to kids. I know when I was at that age, man, motherfucker couldn't tell me shit. And I was like, fuck that. I was trying to be the hardest motherfucker at the school. But I think I was doing that because I was really scared of who I wanted to be, and I was trying to find my identity. And if I would have maybe have had somebody who was a little bit more relative to the streets, maybe they could have made a difference, because a lot of dudes on the streets influenced me. And I think if I would have had the right person influencing me, I would have probably maybe went down a different path. I had, my grandfather was around, but, he didn't really spit no game, man. And he wasn't cut like that, man. He was a working dude, and he took care of bills and business. But, as a young man, you need somebody to talk to, somebody to give you guidance, somebody to, put you in the right direction. And for the things I wanted in life, I didn't have people who were successful at the level of success I was looking to achieve. So nobody in my family could give me what I needed to be the man I want to become. Somebody said, what is basketball like in prison? Basketball in prison is serious. Motherfuckers out there, if you're a baller and you be dunking on fools and clowning and scoring all kind of points, you might have a hater who'll try to take your legs out. Motherfucker might try to hurt you because a lot of times they're betting big money on the games. You got dudes who are ballers and they'll try to pay people to throw a game. And they'll bet against another dude for a game. If they find out you threw a game or motherfuckers is cheating, that could be a wig split. But there's all type of twists and turns. Basketball, a lot of fights happen on the court. A lot of shit talking. When you're really good, motherfuckers will be mad at you. You know what I mean? And, dudes want to... People pay dudes to come and play for their team if they're talented. And then they bet. They use that team and they bet. So you got guys who, they got tournaments and all type of shit. So basketball is a serious sport in prison. I've seen some dudes that were balling up in there. And, man, I've seen thousands of dollars riding on a game in prison. Alpha Freeze, thanks for the donation. Oh, you're a clown. You're a cold Peter Gazer. Shout out to Alpha Freeze for being a Peter Gazer and donating. You like to talk about that. Herc, I'm 23 and don't think I will go to prison or anything, but I love your stories because you are a real ass dude and someone people can learn and look up to because you keep it so real. Thank you, man. I don't try to glamorize this shit. I just try to lace you guys up. And, hopefully you guys will make better choices, man. You know what I mean? Somebody said, if you join a gang in prison, do you remain in it after you leave prison? Some gangs are just prison gangs. A lot of times people are in gangs while they're in prison and they get out and they become businessmen. They start, their own little hustle up, and usually you're not. Some people still gangbang on the street after they get out of prison, man. But a lot of times, you're doing things in prison for survival. And when you get out of prison, you make another transition or another choice to do something that's going to be more beneficial to you in life. So a lot of times you don't have to necessarily be, you're not rolling with a prison gang on the street. I got a question. I'm from Ohio, and do juvenile felonies count against you? And can they stop me from getting certain jobs? Juvenile felonies, you can get expunged for your record. Go and look up the statutory code for those particular felonies. If you haven't had a felony, I believe in 7 years or 5 years, you can petition to have that felony expunged or reduced down to a misdemeanor. So go look at that, man, and that'll open up a lot of doors for you if you feel that felony is going to hurt you. J Man, thanks for the donation. Somebody said if inmates traded farts instead of fists during a conflict, there'd be peace in prison. Yeah, you motherfucker, you fart. I told you fart out loud in prison, you're gonna get your wig split. Motherfuckers ain't trying to smell your stanky ass up in there, and I don't think the fart game will go well with a lot of motherfuckers. Do they have carpentry in prison? Anything constructive? Yeah, they do have a lot of courses. I mean, in the state, man, I've heard of guys getting their certification in carpentry and HVAC and plumbing. All the people in prison who are fixing up the plumbing and doing a lot of the lighting stuff is all inmates. So you got a lot of dudes in prison that have skills, man. And that's why a lot of these guys get out and work these construction jobs, because they know how to do the work and they're not lazy. So, you got people sometimes who hate talking about, oh, prisoners taking a job. Well, motherfuckers on the street, they want to get some money and get high. They don't want to go to work. A lot of these motherfuckers, after doing all that time, they don't mind going to work in those long hours. Somebody said, my trucking company hires ex-cons without question. Come drive a truck. That's good, man. I won't drive a truck, though. I got a homemade, I got a trucking company, but I wouldn't, that's not my thing. I'm a mover and shaker, brother. I make my moves through investments, fresh out, and the car game. But thanks, though. What was your take on the fake Tinder date in NYC? I didn't see that. What do you do if someone comes up to you and wants you to prospect? Don't pay them no mind, man. Don't pay them no mind. Somebody says, why you ignore donations, Herc? How do I ignore donations? I don't get that. You donate, I'll answer your question, but if it's some stupid ass shit, I'm not going to entertain it. And I'll say thank you for the donation. Rancho Cordova, okay, I know about you. I'll do the shout outs in the end. Johnny Pimento, thank you for the donation, brother. That's a nice one. I appreciate that, man. You got a brother who's fresh out? Hey, have him hit us up at FreshOutSeries@gmail.com, man. We'd love to hear about his story. What were the showers like in prison? The showers in prison, it depends on what prison, man. Rampart, they were old. So they had certain areas that had like multiple shower heads and motherfuckers would shower in there. But nobody looked at each other. Wasn't no motherfucking Peter gazing going on. You showered, got the fuck out. You know, they might have had one shower that was like an individual, but there's always somebody in line for that shower. So the showers are pretty ratchet at Rampart, man. At Herlong, at Sheridan, you had individual showers. And at Herlong, you had individual showers. Rampart was a USP, so it was old school. But Herlong was a newer joint, and they had shower stalls. You wear your boots to the shower, and you know what I'm saying? You be ready to get out in case shit kicks off, man. Archer, thanks for the donation. I really hate racism. How do you survive in prison if you refuse to be racist an asshole? I could never hate on a brother just for being a brother. You know what, man? You kind of like, you gotta like, you know, move to your own rhythm in there, man. I mean, I had friends that were white. I had one of my good friends, he was white. I still keep in touch with him right now. My other friend, he was Asian. My other partner was Mexican. So I didn't play the race game in prison, man, but I carried myself a lot different than your typical inmate. So, you know, it's all about how you carry yourself, man. Somebody said, yeah, there's racism in prison. Somebody said, have you ever heard of grown men crying at night wanting to go home? No, man, ain't nobody gonna cry out loud. You're gonna hold that shit in, but I ain't gonna lie, man. I was talking to a dude who was doing life, and his girl left him. You know, a lot of his homeboys took deals when he went to trial. He got life, and, you know, he didn't know how to get the life off him because he didn't really know how to, you know, study the law. He wasn't educated like that, and man, I seen him break down to me before, man, and I just kind of, you know, what could I tell him, man? I mean, I can't fight his case for him, and the thing is, he's working every day in the factories, so if he's trying to work in the factories to feed himself, how's he going to have time to study? See, studying the law is a catch-22 in the prison, and most of the people who get the time off are jailhouse lawyers, not motherfuckers from the street, but jailhouse lawyers, so you have to actually do your own homework if you want to get out of prison, if you have a serious case, man. And those are the guys who are getting their cases overturned, man. Somebody said, Herc, can you survive in prison by just staying quiet and keeping to yourself? Yeah, you can mind your business, man. Fly under the radar. You sit at the neutral table. Don't be talking shit in the TV room. You know, don't invite people into your business. And man, if you do that, man, you can stay out the way of a lot of bullshit, man. Somebody said, do you speak to groups of students for a fee? I'm a teacher, East Palo Alto. Can I send you more info? Yeah, we do. I spoke at Oxnard College. I spoke at USC. I spoke at a couple high schools. Shoot us an email at FreshOutSeries@gmail.com, and we can make that happen. Dooney Smith. Herc, are you into anime? If so, what anime you like? Thanks for the donation, man. I haven't really got a chance to get into any anime. I mean, back in the day, I was a big fan of Speed Racer. You know what I'm saying? And some of the other Japanese cartoons. But I don't really have any new anime, you know, idols that I follow, anything like that. You know, I couldn't name an anime character right now. Um, does anyone study enough law and become a lawyer on the outside? I've heard of guys that actually got out and continued and actually got jobs at law firms. You know, some of the best guys, because these guys know how to research, man. You spend hours and hours in prison researching to get the fuck out. So, you know, a lot of guys do their homework in there and they've managed to actually, um, you know, figure out how to get out of prison. And they know exactly what to look for because they've read so much case law, you know. Is prison rape just a myth or is it a myth? I mean, you know, I guess it does happen, man. I didn't see it. You know, most of the motherfuckers that was involved in that I heard about was consensual. But, you know, you got places where people are predators. And, you know, my homie told me about, like I said before, I think I told you guys a story where this dude was, you know, rolling around with some you know, tight pants on. He had a fat ass and I guess apparently like 5 dudes ran up in there and took his cheeks, man. So, you know, it was at a prison back east somewhere. It was in the feds, so the shit does happen, man. Scandalous shit does happen. It's sad, but it does happen. Evil Table, thanks for the donation. Came into the stream late, but have you talked about the Madden shooting? If he really shut up the place because he lost, it's a new level of loser. Yeah, man. Shout out to all the families, man. Condolences to the families in the Madden shooting in Florida. Somebody went in there and killed, I think it was 2 or 3 people, wounded a bunch of other people, and then they said he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to himself. I mean, if you're gonna do a self-inflicted gunshot wound, just do it from the beginning. You know, why you gotta kill other people and then decide to kill yourself? Just go take yourself out, man. Don't hurt other people because you know your life is not what you want it to be. You know what I mean? There's no need for other people to suffer because of your actions, you know? Just fucking, you know, handle your own business, man. But leave everybody else alone, man. You know what I mean? If you're going through those type of mental challenges, reach out to a hotline, reach out to somebody to talk to, but don't go and just fucking randomly shoot people for no reason. Fuck, man. Go fucking hide under a rock or something, man. Go out into the forest, man, and challenge some of the wild animals and shit, man. If you want to go try to shoot something and see if you can survive out there at night with the motherfucking mountain lions. Yo, Herc, I am a CA attorney. I appreciate your views. How was the law library? Do you win any appeals based on the info? Did you go pro per? Alex, man, thanks for the donation. I've seen a couple guys get life off in the law library. They had computers in there with case law. You could shepherdize, a lot of cases. The computer system at the newer prisons makes it a lot easier for you to do your research. Long Park, when I was there in 2000, they didn't have computers. They just had the books, so we had to go through old law books, and then you would look for the new periodicals that would come out with the newest cases, and you try to look those up, and every so often they would get new case law books. But the computers really revolutionized doing research, and yeah, man, I've seen a lot of guys win appeals, and I actually knocked off 2 years at my sentencing by studying in the law library, and I had limited access, though. When you're fighting your case, they really limit your access, and I've actually tried to send friends legal books in prison, and they refuse to let them have them. They don't want you having any game about the system in prison. And a lot of inmates, a lot of people in prison don't know about jurisdiction. They don't know how to challenge certain things. Jurisdiction can be raised at any time, and a lot of times they never prove jurisdiction. So there's a lot of things, man, that's really deep. And, you know, coming in, you know, pro per or sui juris, you know, different things that you say. A lot of the stuff going on in court is related to Latin, you know, in the law, in the Black's Law Dictionary. So it's a lot of shit going on, man. And after I started reading the law, man, it really made me look at life different. And I think that was a big a big thing that helped me rehabilitate myself was reading the law. It really put things in perspective once I read what the fuck was really going on with our legal system. You know, a lot of people just assume, but you know, they don't realize that the law is a lot of twists and turns, man. Muriel, do you speak Spanish? Hablo español poquito. Necesita estudio mucho. I took it for a couple years in college, a year in college, a couple years in high school, but, you know, I didn't really put the effort into it. I'm going to brush up on it, though. Never been locked up with any celebrities. You from the east or west? I'm from California, man. Northern California, Sacramento, the Bay Area. Me and wifey, we met online, man. We met online, and it's kind of romance blossomed from there. When I was at Long Park, Mac Dre had already left, but my homeboy was there before me. He was there with Mac Dre, but he had already left by the time I got there. Somebody said, "Did I ever spend time in a garden block?" Nah, never. You know what? I went out to the block like once or twice when I was younger, but we used to have the Crip Bowl, North Highlands and Garden Block, 29th Street. Used to play the Crip Bowl every like Christmas and sometimes Thanksgiving. And it was a tradition when I was younger, but they haven't played it I don't know if they still play it, but that one used to go down back in the day in Sac. Rusty Shackleford, thanks for the donation. Do you believe in ghosts? Were there ghosts in prison? I live in San Francisco, and he thinks he lives in a haunted house with a, I've never experienced ghosts in prison, man. So I've never heard, you know, clinking or any weird shit going on, but you know. Somebody said Thrasher or Transworld. I have to roll with Thrasher, homie. I used to skate that Dogtown shit in Frisco. Chinatown Banks. Embarcadero Square. That was our shit back in the 80s. I wasn't locked up with any Australians, no. So I'm going to get into the shout-outs, man, because it's about that time again. You know what I'm saying? It's about that time. I got to go hit this fucking gym. I ain't hit the gym in a couple days, and I feel like shit. So I need to go get my swole on. I don't have any kids, but, you know, I do have a stepdaughter. So let's get the shout-outs in. Let me know where you're from. And, you know, I'll be back again next week. Shout out to Baltimore. Shout out to San Diego. Herc, how was Japan? Japan was lovely, man. Woo, lovely. Shout out to Lombard, Illinois. Shout out to Houston. Shout out to Georgia. Great Mills, Maryland. Shout out to Alaska. Shout out to Coachella, Northern California. New York. Germantown, Maryland. Oceanside, California. Austin, Texas. Chirac. Bronx, New York. Austin, Texas. Cleveland. Shout out to South Carolina. That's right, homie. Get that game, man. Stay the fuck out of prison. Don't let these people trick you. Shout out to Cleveland. San Marcos, North Hollywood, Tijuana, Buffalo, New York, Illinois, Nebraska, New Jersey, Wisconsin, Downey, St. Louis, Bismayne, Australia, Stockton, Amsterdam in the house, Maine in the house. Tim for Pele, thanks for the donation. Big Herc, if someone disrespects you in prison in front of others, do you have to handle it right then and there and not look like a coward, or can it be later? Somebody disrespects you, man. Tell them, let me come holler at you. Step off to the side and put hands on their motherfucking ass. You got to check that shit right then. You don't let nobody bitch you out in front of people, because that move right there exposes you to a lot of shit. You might come the next day, they might come in there and just take your whole locker. So don't let nobody bitch you out. Shout out to Modesto, Zimbabwe, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Chattanooga, Chesapeake, Virginia, Philly, West LA, Attica, New York, North Korea, Altadena, Pasadena, Birmingham, Alabama, Minneapolis, Portmore, Jamaica, UK, Boston, Massachusetts. Thank you, Johnny, for the donation. South Florida, San Jose, Detroit, OC, California. I was just out in OC today, man. Colorado, Kansas City 913. All right, shout out Big Court, Detroit, Odessa, Texas, Africa, Long Beach, Omaha, Nebraska, Phoenix, Arizona, Toronto, China, Denver. Hey, man, shout out to everybody who tuned in. Love y'all, man. Next week, same time, let's get down, let's holler, let's make some moves, let's talk about some money. Make sure you guys visit the website, subscribe. Make sure you guys check out the community page if you want to become a member. We'd love to, share that content with you. And, man, there's some real shit going down on our channel. Tune in, subscribe. We'd love to hear your support. And much love to everybody, man. I'm out.